Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we do the most exciting thing. We go book shopping. I did film an intro for this last week, but somehow it got lost, so I'm filming the intro again. I wasn't planning on going book shopping just because I did recently purchase books off Amazon, but I just discovered this bookshop in my city, and you guys, the variety in this bookshop. Like, I live in New Zealand, so we don't have like a huge selection of books that you'd probably find in the States or in the UK. I don't know how I only just found it because it is amazing. Like, I just saw so many books there that I don't normally see in other bookshops, and I had a field day. I had so much fun, so I hope you enjoy this book shopping video. Guys, I had so much fun at the bookshop. So much fun. Oh my god. I had a field day in there. Even though like these books would have cost so much less if I bought them off Amazon, nothing can replace the feeling of going to the bookshop, picking up the books, reading the first few pages, and like just having that bookshop experience. Nothing can compare to it. So I'm very happy. I'll show you guys what I got. I did go in there with with the intention of buying books that are more like summery and kind of springy, because in New Zealand for me we are heading into spring, so it's about to get very hot. I was like, oh, let me go buy some fun summer books. I would say the majority of the books I purchased are much better suited towards autumn/winter, but I just prefer those kind of books. Like I prefer the darker sort of fantasy romance genres so much more than like the lighthearted summery ones, so that's my own fault. First, I need coffee because I'm actually very sleepy, but these books have just given me energy. Like I'm alive again. I am alive. So the first book I got, I've actually never heard of it before, but it just looked very enticing. Nectar of the Wicked. The cover of it just really drew me in. Really drew me in. And when I looked at the back of it, this was what sold me. The first sort of like blurb on it, it says, so bright, hold on. So I just had to put my blinds down. So it says, beware the fae and never trust them with your heart. I feel like it's been such a long time since I've read like a fae fantasy romance, and I read the Folk of the Air trilogy, like the Cruel Prince series, a few months back, but it didn't satisfy that fae fantasy romance hole in my heart that's been left there since ACOTAR. And I don't expect the series to compare to ACOTAR, but I just miss the fae. I feel like the fae are really fun to read about. I really don't know much about this book. I don't think I've heard of it before. It's not really like ringing a bell. I probably have, but it's not like coming to my brain. So our main female character, she has no idea what her name is, who her family is. She just doesn't have any answers about herself, and she really wants to find out the truth about herself. Then one day, an irresistibly wicked fairy begins a game of cat and mouse with her, and he offers her a trade. He will take her to the fairy realm to assist in her search of the truth of who she is, but in return she must marry him. So it's giving enemies to lovers, it's giving a marriage of convenience, and it's just giving a fun time. I don't expect the series to change my life or anything like that, but it just sounds like a very fun time. And again, I really love the cover, and again, I just really miss fae. So that is book one. But do you see how it's quite like autumn/winter? Okay, and then I picked up, this is one that I'm very excited for. I also had never heard of this book before, but the cover of it really drew me in. And it is called Gentlest of Wild Things. First of all, I mean, beautiful. Beautiful. So this is like a YA romance, but it has Greek mythology woven into it, kind of like the Song of Achilles. So it says, on the island of Zakynthos, nothing is more powerful than desire, and love itself is bottled up and sold by Leandros, who is a power-hungry descendant of the god Eros. I believe the god of Eros is the god of love. I think he's like Aphrodite's son. Correct me if I'm wrong. I really love Greek mythology. Like I love it so much, but I sometimes mix up the gods, or I forget like who is the god of what. Guys, I think this is a sapphic romance, which is very exciting. Wow, so it really is giving like Song of Achilles, but instead of two boys, it's two girls. It says, desire binds them, hunger compels them, and love will set them free. Let me know if you've read this before. Like I said, I've never heard of it before. I'd never seen it before, but the book cover really enticed me, and then the back of it made it even more intriguing. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one. Okay, and then I picked up Throne of the Fallen by Kerry Maniscalco. I have been wanting to read this book for quite some time. Let me just show you something. So this book is a spin-off from the Kingdom of the Wicked trilogy. I read this trilogy I think like 2 years ago, and I really enjoyed it. I think I gave like the overall series a 4-star, maybe like a 4.25. I had a really good time reading it. So in this trilogy, there's 7 princes of hell, and each prince is one of the 7 deadly sins. So in this one, we follow wrath. In this one, we follow envy. And in this series, you do meet Envy. Envy was like a really amusing character. Like, he's very cheeky, and I really enjoyed reading about him. So I'm very excited. Or was that greed? It was either envy or greed that I really liked in this trilogy. I'm pretty sure it's envy. I'm not sure. Either way, I don't care. I love all the 7 princes, and I just think it's really cool how she's like named them each after one of the 7 deadly sins. I just find that very fun. I also really enjoyed Kerry Maniscalco's writing. Am I saying her name right? I loved her writing. I loved the book cover, and I just missed this world. It was a very fun world. I think it is like a bit of a darker fantasy romance. I gobbled it up. I really did. I had like such a fun time reading that series. From what I know, this is just a standalone book. There's not going to be any other books in this. This is just a standalone fantasy romance, which is so nice. Sometimes you want to read a fantasy romance, but you don't want to start a new series, you know? So this is just the perfect thing for it. And then I picked up... Oh, I'm very excited for this. Then I picked up The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I think there's 4 books in this series, and it's like mysteries, like FBI sort of mysteries. I believe there's like a group of high school students that are selected by the FBI to help them uncover these like cold cases. That's all I know. I kind of don't want to read the back of it. I do want to go into this kind of blind. It just seems like a really fun, fast-paced sort of series. I do love a mystery, and I do like to be kept on the edge of my seat, and I'm hoping this will give me that. I also really want to read the other series by this author. What's it called? Something Hawthorne? No, something Inheritance. The Inheritance Games. I think so. I really want to read that. So maybe once I finish this series, I'll read that series. Then I got... Okay, I think this is like the only book I got that was what I was going in for. I was going in to get like summary books, and this is the only one I got that sort of checks that list. I purchased Love Story by Lindsay Kelk. First of all, let's just appreciate the beauty that is this cover. Like, is this not just the cutest thing you've ever seen? I've never heard of this book before, but I'm not really in the contemporary romance circle. I would say the majority of my favorite booktubers do read that genre, but I don't always pay attention to the books because I don't think that I'm gonna like them. So I don't think I've seen this book before. I could have. It looks very cute though. I think it's like a small town romance, and it's set in the UK. I really like books set in the UK. I prefer them over ones set in the States. I don't know why, I just like them more. She's a small town school teacher. He's a hotshot creative director, and together it's hate at first sight. I do have a bone to pick when like romance books are marketed as like enemies to lovers, because they're never ever enemies. Like, the worst is they probably think the other one is stuck up or something like that. Like, they're not actual enemies, you know? So it seems like our main female character is hiding a big secret. She's like a very famous romance author, but she uses a pen name, so no one actually knows that she is the famous romance author, if you get me. And then for some reason, her and the main guy end up going to the countryside, and they end up sharing a cottage. And I'm just assuming the romance will bloom from there. I don't know, it just sounds like a fun time. I read the first few pages of it, and I was like, you know, this is like a fun, lighthearted love story. I'm very excited to read it. I will let you guys know how it is. Then I got another fantasy romance. Then I got A Dawn of Onyx by Kate Golden, and this is a part of the Sacred Stones series. I have no idea how many books are in this series, if this is the only one that's been released from that series. I got no idea. It does sound like your typical fantasy romance, sort of enemies to lovers storyline, but I eat those books up. I eat them up, so I'm not bothered about that. So our female protagonist, she offers up her life to save her brothers. And now she's been taken prisoner by the most dangerous kingdom on the continent. And they're using her magical abilities to heal the soldiers of the vicious Onyx King. And so while she's doing that, she ends up working with a fellow prisoner who might be her only path to freedom. And unfortunately, he's very cunning and he seems to take twisted pleasure on playing on her deepest fears. With this one, I have seen a few booktubers really enjoy reading it, and so I've been wanting to read it for quite some time. So when I saw it at the bookshop, I was like, you are coming home with me. Last book I got, it's a good one. It's a good one. I bought Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in the Chronicles of Castle Lane. How gorgeous is this book? So this is Cassandra Clare's first adult fantasy romance, and it's the first book I think she's written that's outside of her Shadowhunters Chronicles. And there's so many books in the Shadowhunter Chronicles. I know it can be quite overwhelming because people want to get into Cassandra Clare, but they're like, where do I start? There's so many series to start and everyone tells you to read it in a different reading order. So I know it can be very overwhelming. So this might be a good book if you're wanting to read one of her books, but you don't want to start that entire Shadowhunters universe just yet. This sounds like a very interesting premise. So it says, in the vibrant city-state of Castle Lane, Kel is an orphan stolen from his life to become Prince Connor's body double. And as his sword catcher, he and Connor will become as close as brothers. Yet Kel lives for only one purpose, and that is to die for Connor. And the love interest, her name is Lancaster. She is a physician and she's part of a community that's been ostracized for its rare magical abilities. And after a failed assassination attempt, it pulls her and Kel, who is the body double for the prince, it pulls them together. And it says this book is rich with romance and intrigue. And you guys know, if you watch my channel, I love Cassandra Clare. The way she writes, the characters she creates, the world she creates, everything to do with her books, love them. Love it so much. This book only came out last year, so it's her most recent book, and she is one of those authors that just gets better with time. She gets better with time. Her books get better and better like as time goes on. I honestly am looking forward to this so much. These are the books that I picked up. Like I said, they're not really giving summer, are they? That's okay though. I could not be more excited for them. If you guys enjoyed this book shopping / book haul video, I had so much fun making it. I'm gonna finish my coffee and do some reading now. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.